Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Little sleety rain kind of falling down, freezing rain, not sleet I guess, but I guess it's freezing rain. It's kind of right at that freezing mark temperature. Supposed to get possibly some white stuff tonight, maybe even a slight little bit of accumulation. I don't really think it'll be too much, but who knows. We're definitely haven't gotten any this year, so I guess we're due for it. So anyways, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, I thought I would remind everyone, for those of you that forget, I know that's not everyone, but that this is all big plan, all this stuff that's going on. I know I say it often, one of my favorite things to talk about is how everything, it's all a big psyop. And I suspect that there's some that roll their eyes, and like, oh my goodness, this is, you're too far on the crazy conspiracy train. But I'm telling you, pretty sure that that's exactly what's all going on. Kind of like this thing of how the United States is at war with China. I mean, I know not literal, kind of a Cold War, but that they're our enemy, that, we don't get along, we don't like each other, and we're both fighting for dominance. When in fact, all the indication shows that that's not the case, and that my guess is that it's already been decided who's the new world order leader, and that the rest, which is all this other stuff that's being played out, it's all just a show for the audience, you and I. It's all just a show for the American people and the people of China, people around the world, to make them think that there really was this battle between China and the West, so that they can think that, well, it was fought and this person won and this person lost. I'm pretty sure it's already been decided. And I think China, or at least their ideology, is going to be the one that's kind of reigns. It doesn't mean that the United States won't exist or anything like that. It'll just mean that this CCP style of ruling will be what we all see at some point in the future. If you follow the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, all of the, Harari, Novera, whatever the guy's name is, Noah Harari, they all kind of indicate very strongly that China, the CCP, how they do things is the plan of perfection. In fact, Klaus Schwab has said that China is the blueprint for the Great Reset. They are praised on how they handled COVID. They're praised on how they handle, social credit scores and digital ID, and how they handle the environment, even though we all know they're the biggest polluters, but still how they handle it on their people, how they enforce it on their people. And then if you look at all the stuff that they're doing and that they've done, is exactly what we're trying to do. And then of course, if you mix in the fact that, Joe Biden's probably been bought and paid for by Xi and CCP for a long time, I'd say that, again, this war between us and China, it's really just it's all for show. We have to realize that, and not get caught up sometimes, because we all can get caught up in this idea that there's these real wars, and that it just so happens that Putin hates Zelensky and Zelensky hates Putin, and Israel is really out to get Hamas and Iran and all this kind of stuff, when in fact so many of these things have been planned out for a long time. These men in high places sit around and they plan out how to take over the world, of course. And they come up with all these strategies that if we move this chess piece over here, it'll cause this chess piece here to move, and then we'll have to move this one. And in the end, it moves us, closer to end game. The average person usually doesn't see that. They typically are not honed in on that. They just see the stuff on the surface. They see this, we're in this big fight with China. And, Israel and Iran are in this big fight with each other. And Russia and Ukraine are in this big fight with each other. And too many times they don't look beneath the surface and they see the truth of what's going on. That all of these people, all of these world leaders, they pretty much all play on the same team. They all go to the same secret society meetings. They all go to the same World Economic Forum Davos group meetings. They all go and talk at the same United Nations and meetings, and they all kind of hang out together to a certain extent. They're all part of the same club, is what I'm trying to say. And like George Carlin famously said, and you ain't in that club. They do this so that they can convince folks like you and I that there really is dividing sides. It's kind of how they try to get everyone to believe that, that there's all this racial tension and all this religious tension. Most all of that is being pushed by their agenda. When in fact, if you talk to the average person on the street, they don't really have any feelings of bigotry towards anyone for any reason. It's all based on their character. But according to the elites, everything is so divisive and everyone hates everyone, and that's why they're needed to solve all the problems. Saw a number came out, I guess yesterday or so, that for the first time in the United States, the wealth of the 1%, the top 1% wealth, has now taken over the amount of wealth of the middle class. So, where America was once known that it actually had a middle class. There was people that weren't poor and there were people that weren't the elites. They just had a decent middle class life. And now the top 1%, the elite, they now have more combined wealth than all of the middle class put together. This is part of their plan. But make no mistake, it's not just about money. It's also and mostly about control. Control of you, control of your ideas, your thoughts, control your soul, your body, and to eliminate the ones that they feel aren't necessary. Again, was it Noah Harari or whatever, the guy, never can get his name right, but you know who I'm talking about. He flat out says that these useless humans will have to get rid of these useless humans. Don't get caught up in their psyops and actually believe that, China, they're the bad guy, and Russia's the bad guy, and Zelensky's the good guy. And, America, we got to go save the world once again. And it's not like that, folks. It's not like that at all. And if they can get you to buy into their little psyop, they play you. They play you. They get you to donate. They get you to continue to comply. They get you to send your sons off to war. And they get you to believe that you're fighting for the good guys against the bad guys. When the truth is that they're all the same bad guys. And this is the world that we're living in. And it's really, in my opinion, very biblical. And just another sign that we are in those last days time period. Which is another big reason of why we have to continually prepare and realize that this isn't any kind of conventional, traditional, historical style of warfare, although this isn't the first time this kind of stuff has happened. But it's not this typical, there's a bad guy out there and the good guy's got to go save the day. The reality is that they're all the bad guys and they're out to get us. And that's not being paranoid. That's just reading their own literature and watching their own videos and speeches and actually listening to what they say and having somewhat of a brain to figure it out. They're playing people big time, and you know that. It's all a big psyop so that they can exert more control. And you might ask, well, how do they do that? Well, think about it. Oh, China's cyber warfare gonna bring down the grid and cell phone. That's what the papers came out yesterday. Oh, they're gonna bring down all the cell phones. So to protect everyone, first of all, we gotta protect your money. So if we switch over to digital currency, that'll protect that. And if we switch over to this even bigger surveillance system and more intrusiveness into your personal digital life so that we can monitor what them doggone Chinese hackers are doing, then we'll be able to protect you a lot more. Now, you'll have to give up some freedom. We'll have to know everything that you're doing, but it's for your own good. And so many people will buy into it. Oh, yes, put that microchip in me and, you know, I don't have to carry a little credit card and all this kind. Just chip my hand so that I can just buy my stuff with my digital money, with the digital chip that's in my hand. That kind of stuff is what I'm talking about. And they'll fear monger the American people into believing that if they give up their freedoms and they comply with this big brother beast system, that they'll be safer. Don't buy into it. It's all garbage. Keep preparing and becoming as self-sufficient, as independent as you can, because the more that you become that, the less you need them. The less, when this all starts coming down on us, that it'll affect us because we're not as dependent upon the systems. Folks, you need to be getting your houses in order. You need to be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.